Sapphire Doppler knives are some of the most expensive Counter-Strike skins in existence. Their incredibly clean blue colorway makes them very desirable, and that combined with the insane rarity has made them skyrocket in cost. Today I wanted to make a quick video going over all the Sapphire knives currently in the game, explain when they were added, and also go over their basic pricing as of the current day. I really do think the gut knife gets way too much hate for much of an OG knife it is. It has a pretty clean animation and a large blade that looks especially great with Doppler patterns of any kind. The Sapphire gut knife looks amazing, and I actually love the contrast between the wooden handle and the blue blade. These were added in 2015 with the chroma case, and ever since have been pretty desirable. A factory new Sapphire will cost you about $650 on the open market, while minimal wear is actually a bit more expensive at around $675. The Navaja knife tends to be one of the cheapest knives on the market in any pattern. People don't really love the animation, even though I think it's not that bad. The Sapphire versions of this knife do look solid, but I wish the blade was a bit bigger to help show off the updated Doppler patterns the way other knives do. These were added with the Prisma cases, and the cool thing about these is that you can get yourself a Sapphire knife for under $500. Factory new currently sells for about $450, and minimal wear sits around $480. It is cheap because they're not as in demand, but you could also have your own Sapphire, so who cares if people like it or not. The M9 Bayonet always ends up being one of the priciest variants of any of the knife skins, but especially show on any Doppler. The Sapphire pattern really does look incredible on the M9. The new Doppler design has really sick patterns, even in Sapphire, that make it look better than it did in CSGO. It also has an insanely clean animation and an iconic status with the community. It was added in 2015 with the chroma case, but these are insanely expensive skins if you want one of your own. A factory new one costs over 12 grand today, and minimal wear is sitting around the 10 grand mark. The Shadow Daggers are one of the most underrated knives in the game, in my opinion. The two blades is a very unique look, and I think the animation gets a lot more flack than it deserves. The Sapphire pattern on this knife looks beautiful, but there really aren't any Sapphires that are really ugly in my opinion. Real OG players will remember when this knife was bugged and would twitch your screen every time you pulled them out, and I think that legacy has helped keep the prices lower on these. These cost about the same as the Navaja knife, despite being cooler to me, and a factory new version will cost you about $450, while minimal wear is sitting around $600. These were added with the Spectrum case, and I think one day the community will come around on these knives. Falchion knives are starting to become more desirable to collectors as they age, mainly because they are starting to be viewed as more of an OG knife. The animation is fine, but the rare inspect is really what has the crowds hyped for this knife. The cool thing about Doppler Falchion knives is that the skin actually covers almost all of the knife entirely, especially with the Sapphire. It looks incredible with the entire knife being blue. This was added in the Spectrum cases, and a factory new version will cost you just around the $1,000 mark, while minimal wear tends to be $50 to $100 more expensive. Bowie knives have a solid animation and a huge blade that makes the Sapphire pattern really pop. The skin looks great, and the updated Doppler patterns really get a chance to shine with this knife. I do think the Bowie knife update with two hands also helps showcase any glove skins you have on, and overall this is a pretty underrated knife in my opinion. It was also added in the Spectrum collection like a lot of the newer Dopplers were, and the pricing for these sites at around $1,200 for factory new or minimal wear. The Sapphire box cutter is one of my favorite knife skins in the game. The Ursus knife has a special place in my heart for some reason I can't really explain. I think this knife has one of the coolest rare inspect animations in the game, and Sapphire pattern really makes the knife pop. The different colored handle does bug some people, but I think it helps make the Sapphire pop even more. This was also added in the Prisma collection, and currently factory new goes for about $1,900, while minimal wear is sitting around the $3K mark just due to how rare it is. The flip knife has become a bit of a cult classic because of its clean animation and simple blade. The Sapphire Doppler does look great on this knife, but it has some of the most hype behind it of any pretty straightforward knife design. Ever since its addition with the chroma case, it has been an insanely sought after item, and currently a factory new flip knife Sapphire will cost you about $2,700, while minimal wear is sitting at around $3,300 respectively. I do love this knife, but considering it's about the same price as a Sapphire Bayonet, I can't justify purchasing a flip knife instead. Huntsman knives have a very cool animation, alongside a unique blade that really does showcase the sapphire pattern well. The black handle really helps any Doppler pattern pop, but especially in any of the ultra rare patterns like this one. This particular Doppler was added with the Spectrum collection that was supposed to help build out more Doppler knives than just the original set. The current market cost for these is about $1,500 for factory new, while minimal wear is sitting at $1,800 as of this moment. The Bayonet Sapphire is an absolute classic knife from the Counter-Strike series. Maybe it's just me, but when I imagine a sapphire knife, I picture a bayonet in my mind. It has a super clean animation and a simple, long blade that looks great, especially with this pattern. This has been in the game since 2015 like most of the original Dopplers, but the cost for this thing definitely is not on the cheaper end of things. A factory new sapphire bayonet will set you back about $3.2 thousand, while minimal wear seems relatively stable around the $6,000 mark. Stiletto knives are a weapon that I feel is hit or miss with most CS players. I personally think the animation and blade are a bit overrated. However, I won't lie and say that the Sapphire version looks bad, because it clearly is a spectacular skin. This was added with the Prisma case, and it is one of the more expensive sapphire knives from that collection, with a factory new price of $2,900 and minimal wear floating around $2,800 instead. Overall, this is a sick knife, but I really think that when you break down the pricing, there are better sapphire options for the price point. The Talon Knife is one that needs no introduction. It has become the most popular of the new knives added last in CSGO, and the Sapphire version definitely is beautiful. I actually really think the ivory handle on the Talon Knife helps this skin look great, and it is unique compared to most other looks for the Sapphire pattern. This got added with the Prisma case, and the current pricing for a factory new Talon Knife is about $4,100 US, while minimal wear is at about $5,300 instead. The Karambit doesn't really need an introduction. It is another one of the most iconic knives in the game. The sapphire pattern on this skin is absolutely stunning, and every time I pulled out this knife while recording this, I was blown away by how clean it looks. This is one of the original sapphires added back in the original chroma case, but this is one of the most expensive knife skins in the game. Factory new sits at around $10,000, while minimal wear tends to be only $500 cheaper on any given day. This is a gorgeous knife, but for 10 grand, I think there are a lot better things for you to buy in your life. The Butterfly Knife Sapphire is especially legendary because it can cost more than a small sized card. Don't get me wrong, the skin is beautiful and the animations are definitely the best in the game. However, the rarity of this skin combined with the demand has turned it into one of the most expensive cosmetic items in all of gaming. It has been in the game since 2015 with the chroma case, and currently a factory new version will cost you about $14,000, with minimal wear hovering more around the $12,000 mark. There is no way around it. This is one of the best knife skins in the game, but you will definitely be paying for it if you want one for your collection. Those are all of the sapphire knives currently in the game. Eventually, I'm sure we will see the Kukri knife get a Doppler edition, but until then, this is everything with the incredibly rare Doppler phase. If you like these videos, consider checking out the one on your screen now and clicking that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching and have a great day.